Listen, we've all come from different backgrounds, obviously, hopefully. And I didn't get a lot of training as a youngster. You know, we all have different levels and moderate levels of dysfunction and whatnot. Not a lot of training in my home. My father was an avid bottle collector and was on the road a lot, which always sounds better than alcoholic that left. But when you change the way the words come out, it's less, I'm kidding, of course. He was more into drugs. So it wasn't really the alcohol that did it. So it was my mom and I, is what I'm getting at. It was my mother and I taking on the world together. Now, she has the wisdom, my mother. She's 15 years older than I am. So as we grew up together, we trudged the happy road. I learned to fight. You know, people would say, what's your sister's name? That's my mother! You know, it's a reality thing. It's okay to laugh. It's comedy and tragedy. It's a mixture of comedy and tragedy. It's okay. That's your permission. The buckwheat joke was kind of what you call a test joke, and you guys kind of got that. So it's been deployed. It's landed. Now we're moving forward. I mentioned not having a lot of training. I'm sure we've got a lot of highly trained people in this room. I can tell from some of the vehicles out there, some of your coats I was going through. There's a lot of really important people here. I can tell. And is this my good side, eh? You getting all this? Okay. Okay, it's all good, she says. That's what young people say today. It's all good. It's all good. The training that I didn't get as a kid, it really affected me later on in life when dating. I met the lady that would eventually become my wife, and I didn't know how to court a lady. I didn't know how to attract a woman. There's a lot of things that are important to attract a woman, like a job. Like that's attractive. A lot of ladies are just drawn to that. But years ago, I meet a lady, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the one. This is the lady I'm going to marry. Then I start thinking, okay, I've seen this on TV shows. Sometimes there's these elaborate engagement stories that people are able to tell later. And I thought, okay, this will be my gift to her. When she's an old, misshapen, hunched-over great-grandma, she can tell this story to her grandkids, her great-grandkids. So I make this elaborate plan. We're on a strategic planning team together, which already is very boring. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll trick her to come down to an emergency meeting of this strategic planning meeting crew we're part of. And by this point, long before this, I've ripped off a Larry Norman song, and I've changed the words. Things like, there's no time to change your mind. The day has come. Leanne, be my bride. Like, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be silent, just like that. This is my dream. Just like that. Thank you for clapping. This is the plan. I've learned it. There's not a lot of chords. There's one chord on the side. It's very simple. So I've got this whole plan. I've got the candle going. Leanne shows up. She's like, what is that? There's no cars. It's okay. Just come. It's upstairs. Boring meeting. Up we go to the boring meeting. And she's thinking, there's no one here, though. We get in the room. She sees the candle. What is this? And I go, hush. Hush. Just sit. Candle's going. She's confused. She's frightened. Take the guitar. There's no time to change your mind. One tear is just coming down. One glistening tear just started slow. She started slow. I'm working my way through the song. I'm getting all the way to the Leanne, be my bride. I hold up the ring. By this point, she is doing that ugly crying. Like, snot bubbles, the whole, like it's horrible. I said, are you okay? She goes, I thought you were breaking up with me. I go, breaking up? That's an email. I don't do all of this for that. So in a momentary lapse of judgment, she did marry me, and we've been learning each other ever since. It's been with the training. I knew the ladies looked different. I'd seen some brochures. I knew there was different aspects of things. There's a chemical thing that happens in a woman's universe every 30 days. There was a brochure I looked at the pictures. I didn't know all the technical terms. Early in our marriage, I thought, came home from work, I'm noticing my wife is very, she's kind of irritable. She's got a grump on, bit of a grump. So I get home, I'm looking at my wife, she's washing the dishes like a good wife. Oh, sorry, no. That's a joke. Just testing you guys. I walk in, and she's very upset. She's grumpy. Everything grumpy. I'm thinking, I know what this is. I know what this is. It's PMS. And I'm thinking, in my naivete from not reading the whole brochure, I'm thinking maybe it's like hiccups. I could kind of scare this out of her. So I kind of sneak up behind her, all kind of loving. And she's grumpy. I grieve up. Are you PMSing? I woke up outside, and it's been a long learning curve with those chemical things with my wife and I, and postpartum, there's another chemical soup that happens, and that's the only time that my wife would ever say things to me sort of like on the phone, I need you to come home so you can get out, and it's this bizarre avalanche of emotions, and it's, maybe you've been there, but with the life with my wife, there's some ladies here, I can say this, and guys, you're probably with me. It's hard being a man. Oh, here we go, easy. Your eyes rolled back so far, I think I saw your optic nerve in that moment. I can see some of the body language, sort of like, hard being a man. Give me a break. Men own everything, invented everything, run everything. That's the stereotype based on reality. But what I should say fully is it's hard being a man when you're sharing your life with a woman. It's very hard. I'm saying this personally. There was things that I was sure about before I was married. I used to walk like this. I was going. I had a stance. I had ideas. I was sure about things. All these years of marriage before I came here, I said, honey, do I like this shirt? And she told me I did. So that's why this one's on, because I like this one. But a group this size, there's certainly got to be a man in here that's about to be married. And I don't need any hands up, and I know, but I'm speaking to you right now. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot to know, there's a lot to remember, and there's a lot to appear interested in. It's a compounded thing. You got to work on your face, kind of like, that's a hosta? Really? So I've had some practice with that one. So, but with married life, there's you hear about these lists all the time. There's all these lists, like the honeydew list. And are you married? No. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to into your area there. There's lists like the grocery list, all these kind of normal kind of getting through life lists. But behind all of those smaller lists, those superficial lists, there's the phantom list. It's called the existence list, and it's kind of runs behind everything. And they're simple things. It's not like, I'm not talking about trigonometry or calculus, like we even know what those things are, but things like, they're simple. Here's a couple examples. Dan, really simple. Lift the seat. Potentially wipe the rim, put down the seat. It's a lot of work, I know. Yeah. All these years of marriage, I sit. So, again, that's a lot of work to do. You can cut that work out, and that's okay. There's things like always remember the wife's birthday, right? Always remember to never call your wife the wife, and always remember to never introduce your wife as your current wife, because it hits the ear on an angle that's it's never on time for that. My particular personal worldview embraces the idea that we seem to be designed. We maybe perhaps have the fingerprints of the designer on us, and I think that men and women are just wired differently. Would you agree? Like, not just plumbing. I'm talking, we're wired differently. Things make sense to my wife completely that make no sense to me. No sense. So when I hear my wife yell, "Get out of the shower to pee," that makes sense to her. I'm thinking in my brain, why would I leave this drain right here, walk all the way over here, dripping shower water over here? But you know what? I accommodate her because I love her. I love her. She doesn't understand that urine kills athlete's foot fungus. It's science. It's science. But I can't always win. I have to let her win some. And sometimes there's sneaky wins, like a sneaky win. Like, I don't always empty the dryer lint, you know? There's kind of like, I get some digs in that she doesn't even know about. I like secret points I have, but that's okay. Life changes a man and a woman when you're sharing your life that way, and you throw some kids in the mix, and the laboratory takes on a whole different thing. I just turned 40 5 years ago, and started worrying about my body. I was never been a hugely vain guy, as you can see from the way I'm dressed. But where's the runners? Who runs here? Where's the serious, like real runners? Like planning routes, bleeding nipples, like really like running. Not real. I spent a lot of time planning routes, eating right, a couple half marathons, doing a long run a couple summers ago, and I realized running really sucks. So that was the day that I quit, and I immediately started getting fat again. It was, I thought, okay, I needed something else, a substitute for the running, which is really hard on your body. I thought I need something that's going to suppress the appetite. It's discreet. I don't need to make a big show of it. So I'm smoking now, and it's okay. I roll my own. Like it's organic. It's local tobacco. So if you're wondering, it's none of this out of town stuff. So getting older, this might be hard to believe, but I used to be cool a long time. No, see, yeah, thank you. That's very polite. A long time ago, in the 80s, probably when you were born. In 1987, I was cool for 20 minutes one evening, and there's a couple photos to prove that. But as time has moved on, I can get used to being soft here. We drive a used minivan we bought from a funeral home. Like, it's not cool, Doesn't matter how much Febreze you use, it always smells like fingernails or something. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't even know fingernails had a smell, Dan, but they do. Yeah. But the thing that's been one of the hardest things for me personally has been balding. You see, I used to have long hair, playing rock bands. People used to want to be around me. But then I realized I was the balding guy. Now I'm balding. I'm not bald, right? It's sort of like I'm dying. I'm not dead, okay? If you're dead, forget it. It's over. Throw the dirt, walk away. But if you're dying, there's plans, right? Strategies to put together. So I'm thinking, okay, early on in this process, I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a few options here. Got options. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, there's products. There's spray-on hair products, and there's kind of dyeing your hair. But I'm thinking, I'm always suspicious of any man that dyes his hair thinking, what else are you hiding? What else is hiding, right? Yes, you're agreeing. Yeah, anyway. So that's going to be out for me. There's something that's been elevated to the height of almost Renaissance art. For lack of a better term, let's just call it creative combing. And that's the type of thing that probably started off as a dare or an accident, where someone took some of this healthy, lush hair and it kind of moved it over to the diseased, sad part of your head, and you kind of thought, wait a minute, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that's okay. But it's a slippery slope because you start doing that. And next thing you know, you're the guy that I saw at RibFest in the summer. He was kind of photobombing. He'd come up beside people and he'd kind of comb other people's hair onto his head, and it's kind of a desperate move there. And now I'm not saying I'm better than him by anything. I'm saying, but for grace, there goes I. I didn't embark on that. There's something else a lot of guys do. There's probably a few here for sure. It's the shave it. Just shave it off, right? Some people that aren't even balding do that, and we hate them because, but there may be a guy here, but you shave your head, and if you have an attractive head, you can do that. You kind of look like a UFC guy or a Spartan warrior or a drug dealer or something, like a pharmaceutical drug dealer But again, you can only do that if you have an attractive head, okay? You don't want to see this thing without any hair on it. You really don't. You know that the absolute last cantaloupe that no one ever takes it ends up on the loser trolley by the bathroom at the grocery store. It's got a lump in it and a cigarette butt on the side. That's my head. So thankfully, you're all being spared by seeing the whole thing. Just kind of a slow reveal. And if I get to live long enough, you will see the horror of this head. But that's okay. My wife and I, we work really hard to, try to not pretend we're still young and hip. You know, we know we're not. And I did something last summer that brought shame to our clan. And she likes me to admit this because it's therapy. I'm sorry to selfishly drag you into my therapy session, all 120 of you. But I did something last summer that, again, brought shame to our house. And I wore socks and sandals. And they were brown socks. They were pulled way up. And I thought I could pull it off. But now, I said sandals, not Crocs. I'm not a loser. Okay, don't write me off completely. But there's things that they just don't work anymore for me. My wife and I, we work hard to spend time together. We have 5 kids. I know. Holy crap. And I know what you're thinking. That guy's broke. And but our life is busy, and so we have this thing we like to call it a date night, where we go. We kennel the kids. The kids are kenneled safely. You know, they get the shots. It's kind of like an induced coma for the night. They're away safely. We leave our phones at home and we go out, usually for a movie. We like movies. And I usually let my wife pick because I love her, and she has good taste in movies. We like similar movies. I like popcorn. So this is a while ago. I'm coming home and Leanne says, here, she slides the paper across. She says, we're going to a movie. This is it. And it's upside down, and I'm trying to read it. And it looks like it says The Miserables. Yeah, have you heard of this? The Miserables is this movie. Yeah, I'd never heard of this movie. I'm thinking, what is that, a new documentary on the new atheists? You know, these kind of but it wasn't. It was The Miserables, it's called. And if you've not seen this, I'm sorry to spoil this. It's a musical. And I did not see the musical, The Miserables, because I love musicals. I saw the musical, The Miserables, because I love my wife. It was an act of love. And that's what love is, acting. So that never sounds right, but you know what I mean though, right? You don't at all. So I said, okay, let's go to this movie. I didn't know about this movie. I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but I love my wife, like I said, so we go, and we get in there. And I'm thinking, okay, this is, okay. Opening scene, Wolverine is in this movie. Guys, yeah, Wolverine's in this movie pulling on a rope, going like, blah, blah, big veins sticking out of his neck. I'm thinking, this is going to be so good. Then it never got any better. The rope went away, and it kind of went on. And I'm thinking, this is a really long movie. The movie is 11 and a half hours long. And so I'm watching it, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, I was clean shaven when I came in here. And I'm not hairy, but it was coming back, and so I drifted for a bit, but then I'm watching and watching. Then I'm realizing, wait a minute, this is not even a musical. This is like a musical on steroids. This is an opera. Everyone is singing everything. Like there's no speaking. Anyway, if you've not seen the movie, please don't, okay? It's well done, okay? It's well done, but I'm sorry. So I'm watching, and I'm thinking, you couldn't live in a world like that. You could not. You could not live in a, then I started thinking, well, wait a second. Especially my life, I've got kind of a boring, paying bills, kind of waiting to die kind of life. It's not exciting over here. The odd TEDx event here and there, but so I'm thinking, no one would watch that. I don't have French Revolution happening, but I thought, well, wait a minute. Most of us are average, right? I'm sorry to break that to you, but most of us are average. And I thought, well, maybe I can be the Jean Valjean character in my life, in my home. I could be the Jean Valjean character walking into my bathroom. Who was the last one to use the toilet? Who was the last one to use the toilet? Who? And a little dirty-faced kid comes in. It was I, your youngest son. It was I. What have I done? Big mood change, lights change, the music comes up, and I go, why did you not flush down the debris that I see? When I look into the bowl, what do I see? No toilet paper. That's just creepy. So you'd watch that, wouldn't you? That's $11 worth right there. Yes, okay, it's okay. Don't feel bad that most people stand in ovation when I do that bit, but that's okay. You guys, you're tired. You're tired, okay? You have dinner later. But it's encouraging to think, yeah, we all have things that people are interested in. We're all pretty much average, you know. Like everyone hates hearing that. I grew up in the throes of the self-esteem movement where everyone was going to be the prime minister, and it only seems like one guy or girl ever gets in the shot of that. So I guess it was a little inflated, but my averageness is it's working out okay so far. So far, I want to leave you with one thing that because it's TEDx, you have to have something. You might write this down, or you might not. You may just log this away, to use computer jargon. Log that away. There's a marketing genius tactic that happens in this generation. Now you're young, you know the name Nickelback, right? You realize you could sell any product, if you make the ads sound like a Nickelback song, right? Because they're strong and they're, you could sell anything, even difficult to market products. You may have heard this one. Choosy cat owners choose Myers Cat Suppositories. Cue the jingle. Little kitty, you're gonna feel some pressure on the south side. Yes, Myers Cat Suppositories, get yours today. Cue the tagline. Lift the tail and walk away. You know what? You know how many suppositories are sold with that jingle? You know, don't be ashamed that you've loaded up your car at times, you hear that jingle. In the 70s or the early 80s, the same phenomena took place, but it was Journey. If you made it sound like a Journey song, you're good. You're golden. Remember there was the Red Cross campaign. You remember that? Dan, you're not with me on this one. It was maybe I shouldn't even go there. I think you know what? There was a PSA, and it went like this: na 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 na. Come on, na 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 na. Because literacy matters. You know, we were reading things. The Red Cross one. Don't stop bleeding. Open up your vein and let it flow. We were reading and bleeding in the early 80s thanks to these marketing tactics, and there's a lot of marketers in here. You're welcome for that. That's okay. My name is James MacNeil, and I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you.